Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Friday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne, Tom Gazzola. Jay gave me the go-ahead to get going.
No, I don't feel bad.
No, this is a
sorry,
hangout,
making sure.
right? I mean,
We were
okay.
doing our debrief of yesterday's game with the Godfather and Dusty. I apologize.
Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne, Tom Gazzola, Benny the intern with you here. Benny on the other side of the camera. Here on the Hangout, thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, watching on YouTube, or listening on podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, the EST Hangout, as I said, presented by Sentinel Storage. Canada Storage experts, more than 2 decades, helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider. Get your storage provider services, all of it dealt with. Sentinel.ca right now. First 4 weeks free on all units. Sentinel.ca. EST also proudly presented by Play Alberta.
Good post-game show last night, guys.
Thank
I was
you.
listening
You
on
got
my
the Play
way
Alberta
home.
hat on.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yep, I was at Play Alberta Field, as was Benny yesterday at Commonwealth Stadium.
We had a fun post game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
I like how Hernan joined in and he goes, guys, I'm having a glass of red right now. and instead of being like, that's great, Hernan, you're just like, I'd like that too.
It does seem. You want to know
I
something?
almost brought a bottle of red here.
I don't mind the idea of having a post game show with a glass of red.
You can sip and savor and discuss. Like, you really could.
You know, like Thursday, Bombers, right now, not looking good for the Elks to win that game. If we're discussing a loss, you and I just have a red, sipping on it, having a nice conversation.
I don't
about
mind
the Edmonton
that.
Elks game. It just seems very lovely.
And if people are going like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that's not professional. In theory, yes. But over the course of the last 80 years of broadcasting, there's been a lot of drunks on the air delivering your news while they're drinking and having a dart.
That does sound nice. I'm already, today driving in, I was trying to think what to do for dinner next Thursday.
Oh, were you?
We're now rotating who brings dinner.
Because you guys are here now, right?
Yeah.
I was watching yesterday when I got home, too, after I listened on the way back. And, when I was here with Hernan, it's like, you want to go get a bite to eat? Do you want something? We can get something together. You want a snack? That part of it's kind of nice.
I brought pizza first week.
Yep.
And Jay looked at me, he's like, are we going to be guys that are just going to be doing pizza every week? And I was like, I don't have anything wrong with that. And he's like, I don't have anything wrong with that. So he brought pizza again yesterday. But I do feel like there's a couple times opportunities to maybe try something different.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to get some pho, or
Wellesley has a spot.
maybe refinery grill
It's really good.
The other thing, refinery grill's not
sandwiches.
bad. Gager did bring this air fryer.
Yeah, we could do our
We
own
could start
stuff.
doing some things.
I mean, I brought in the mixed box yesterday of
I saw that.
spring rolls and
I have that propane stove.
yeah.
Start grilling.
I'm concerned about that.
Why?
Just a open flame or a propane grill in the enclosed spaces of our office.
Oh, okay,
you-
two things. One, it's not that big of a propane tank. It's not that big of a deal.
Which leads me to also believe that it's not going to be able to get much done.
Hey, they heat it up to chili for the cook-off.
You can do anything
But
in that air fryer.
the same
I mean, we
thing
can bring in
is-
steaks.
There is that back door at the new office that we can put it on, get a nice little thing, keep that door propped open, and we can grill outside.
Keep tabs on the neighbors on weekends.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that most of this season is going to be done from that new office.
We will have the next game in this office. We'll have July 6th in this office. And then by then, we might have started transitioning. And after that, we might be in the new office. We have 2 or 3 more games left here. We got a bigger kitchen space. We could almost do our own tailgate menu.
We could do the show from the kitchen.
Show. We could do a cooking show.
Could do it and cook while we do the pregame show. Wow.
Jay, before we get into the starting lineup, what are you cooking over there? Well, Matt, chopping up some onions for this dish that I'm
It'd be like Dunnigan out there.
Oh, I got so mad with him one year because it was July 1st. I remember doing the show with Jeff Walker. And he was in his happy place grilling for everyone. But I remember just watching halftime, and I don't think they talked a second about the game. It was all about what Matt Dunnigan was grilling. I'm like, talk about the damn football game. I got angry on that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of something you'd expect in a halftime show.
I kind of wanted to eat what he was making. I'll be honest. I know exactly what game that was in Hamilton, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think that was the game
burgers?
that
No,
Trey
he
won out there.
I think he
Or
did like.
kebabs or something.
Oh,
He
grilled
did like
there
a
was
huge
kebabs.
thing of ribs too,
Yeah.
and they were slathered in some kind of like southern sauce. The best sauces I ever had were in North Carolina at the
But right.
Hurricanes Arena, the pregame meal. They had like 10 different sauces. There's brisket, there's pulled pork, pulled chicken. Like it was everything. It was all barbecue styles. Weekend game. The Oilers were playing there. It was one of my first times there, and just the sauces, the arrangement of sauces, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like, listen, we grill pretty damn good up here. We really do. But it's just different there.
It's a culture down there more
Yes.
so than it is up here.
Yes. And
It's growing
and that's
here.
okay. It's not knocking one or the other, but it was like, oh, this is delicious. I haven't had this kind of experience with sauces and grilling and barbecuing. So a good sauce goes a long way, I would say.
I must say the surprise of the night last night for
Ah.
as up and down that game was what, the early fourth quarter, or was it still third quarter? I forget.
I think it might have been MBT was just coming in, I think. So late third.
The late third, and we locked the main door, we locked the upstairs door, we locked the door to the office.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, you're getting late at night. It's
Well, and
8, 9 o'clock. We don't know what's
spa
going on.
downstairs.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody wandering up here, and
We had an issue at one point in our time here where somebody was upstairs when they shouldn't overnight. Like they got like, so you have to be careful.
Yeah, it's
So we
protocol.
have things locked, like in like.
Well, it's part of the safety protocol developed
Yes.
by the coup. So then we hear the door opening and it bursts open, and I'm like, who the hell has gotten through?
It was
our
like the
5 layers
fire
of
department
security?
was knocking down that door because they needed to save us because there was a fire burning. Like that's how quickly that
It
door
was
just
intense.
I have a
bursted
hunch.
open.
have
And
a
Jay and
hunch.
I just both were like, "What?" And like we were like, "What is going on?"
Well, first we had to put our shirts back on.
Okay. I mean, that's for
Then we had to
off
clean
air,
some
but
things
whatever.
off, you know, it's just
I didn't know you guys were that close, but that's cool. Whatever. It's
No, so
summertime.
in storms Benny, and we're just like, I mean, if you could have taken a picture of the looks on our faces, we probably would have been
It's
just
pretty funny.
just. I don't know what the emotions we would have shown, but
And he's very comfortable.
he
here.
rushes in with all the gear from the tailgate, and we didn't know that he was coming back. So it was nice to see Benny, though. It was really nice to see you.
get a piece of pizza.
He had a piece of pizza, went and played
Good.
ball hockey,
Carbo
potted a
loaded.
goal last night.
It's all 'cause
Yeah.
of that pizza.
It's all
Got
because
to
of the
go my
pizza.
organized cardio.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, we were not expecting anyone to show up, and this door, and it wasn't even like the door just quietly opens and like, oh hey guys,
No, it's like it burst open.
burst it open.
Yeah.
I was
And
carrying a table in one hand. I was like, it's open.
And then we helped him and we brought stuff up, and it was fine. But it was just like, whoa, thanks, Benny, scared us.
I'm not surprised because Benny, like, when he's here, he declares himself on Saturday mornings.
okay.
Yeah, and it's good.
How do you declare yourself?
By doing
By
what
entering
you
like
just
that.
I
described,
thought
yeah.
maybe he does something else, but no.
Well,
that's
yeah, no,
okay.
that has happened before.
Thought maybe like,
If we're on
I
the
am
same-
now here for you, gentlemen. We may
much.
begin hello hockey.
Where's
Yeah,
my
like-
donuts, Tom? God damn it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fox, where are you?
They're coming. Don't worry, you're getting it. I finally learned Benny's coffee order. It's very simple, but
Iced coffee,
no,
an actual coffee.
Everything
Yeah.
from Fox, like, outside of Fox, it's iced coffee.
they can do iced coffee at
Yeah,
Fox. They've
so-
offered. I can get some tomorrow.
What's the order?
It's just a black with
Black with
cream and sugar.
Americano, 1 milk, 1 sugar.
Nailed it.
You like your iced coffee. Otherwise, you do just 1 regular.
Yeah.
Belsey straight
Timmy's.
up.
I like a black iced coffee. No, don't give me a
Yeah.
pump or
Yes.
anything. I don't want any of that.
I like caramel.
I do too,
But I don't get it
it's
very
like,
well.
I just
Straight up
find that
sugar.
it doesn't mix with coffee all that well, especially
true.
iced coffee. It just turns into some concrete-like form at the bottom of your cup, and it's rendered useless.
Trev likes his regular. 1 cream, 1 sugar. Eric likes his black. generally.
Bellsy straight up black too.
Dusty
milk,
likes his
sugar.
chocolate milk. I don't know what Reed. I've never really gotten Reed. one.
Reed has what he calls a pee-pee. Which I don't know why he calls it that, but it's 1-on-1.
He's a different,
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's like power play. I don't know.
different guy.
I feel like.
Oh, is he ever, Tom?
I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time since I got Nanso coffee. I feel like he's black. I don't feel like Hernan drinks it with anything in it. So I know
No
a couple of
sugar?
coffee. I don't know. Now I'll have to ask him when
He
he comes
doesn't
in.
get when we do like coffee runs or whatever. He doesn't really get coffee that often. I don't think.
He's now an iced coffee guy now.
Who?
Hernan.
Hernan.
Oh yeah, you got him an iced coffee, or Zach did.
He just showed up.
Well,
with
you guys
ice-
talked about it or
Yes,
something.
we
with
talked
him.
about it. Oh yeah, and he's like, these things, man. I think they're my new thing. I was like, they're good, hey. He goes,
I could see that.
yeah,
I could see
iced
that.
coffees. They're good. Now he's showing up iced coffee every day.
See, I asked for an iced coffee though, half ice.
That's the
Because-
best way to do it.
These pricks.
Ooh, we're saucy
will-
today. I like this.
Oh yeah. I mean, but I don't want a cup full of ice.
Yeah.
With coffee poured over it. No. Get that out of here. Give me half the ice.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that the ice cools it. And yes, there is some longevity to your coffee as the ice melts and makes it into more of a Americano, right, Tom?
Americano, but yes.
Americano, Cano. We're not doing that.
This isn't Mazda.
Nope,
This
we're not
isn't
doing,
pasta.
No, we're not doing that. We're not.
It's not Cabo, it's Cabo.
We don't need to prove you guys wrong yet again.
What are we proving us wrong with? Which part?
Oh god.
Alberta accent. Canadian accent. Actually, it's Canadian
I'm
accent.
not even going to go into this one too then today.
Oh, you're salty.
No,
too.
I'm not going to get into. I agree with Jay. Probably
you have
shouldn't
had
get
a
into
very
that.
good week, by the way. I have to
Why
say.
have I had a good week?
You've had some very good takes that have taken off, and
Oh, well,
people
thank
are
you.
like, they're applauding you for.
Round of clicks for Matty.
Round of clicks.
Thank you. Well, people are just,
Finally getting his credit.
people are just stupid out there, and by stupid, it's Toronto Maple Leafs fans.
He's not just an angry, ignorant, tone deaf.
There's intelligence behind that
There
anger.
is a real hot takes machine inside of there.
Well, true. Well, yeah, people have known that. They saw my Twitter a couple of years ago. No, my highlight of my week right now is yesterday. It's during the Reed Wilkins show.
You did a hit. I didn't catch all of it.
That was with the Hernan and.
Oh, okay.
No, this isn't a hot take.
Oh, this was huge.
What happened?
Huge.
What did I miss?
Team Japan defeated Team USA
wow.
in Super
They did.
Volleyball.
They did.
Really?
Wow.
I took down the Americans.
You figured out. You must have figured out set plays then.
I've got a couple of those. I got a couple
it.
of good spikes in there.
Yeah.
I actually had 3 match points. I blew the first 2. I was up 14-12 or 14-13, blew it. Was up 15-14, blew it. Then I was up 16-15. Massive spike to win it. I was like, yeah! It was right as these guys went to break.
Yeah, we
Hernan
were
was
just
out
going
of
to
the
break.
office.
Yeah.
He comes running, and what happened? I was like, I just took down the Americans. Now I
Yeah.
got the Soviets to deal with.
Hey, and you were serving aces too.
I was getting aces.
I was watching you play like Monday or Tuesday. Like that game's hard. Reed is was getting frustrated with it.
Well, now Reed's like and I feel like Reed's got to figure this out that we're a team right now, him and I. But he's like, well, now I got to start from the beginning to take on the Americans because he wants to beat the Americans.
Yeah,
It's like,
he does.
But join me in now trying to beat the Soviets. And if he beats the Soviets, let's go beat whoever's next. We've got to
Who
do it
would be
together.
next?
Soviets.
I mean, he's taken.
Well, I know that's
but-
who's next.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
you
I don't know.
Start with
it's Cuba, China,
China,
U.S., Soviets.
U.S., Soviets.
I don't think it ends after 4.
But who is it? Brazil?
Oh yeah, I think we talked about Brazil. We think
That's
Brazil.
the only
What's
volleyball
amazing
powerhouse
is the
left.
Soviets are in this game, and it was made in what 92. It was Super Nintendo.
I don't know.
Or
when
no, it was
this
an
one
arcade
was.
game.
Yeah.
Super Volleyball video game. When did this come out? Yeah, it was an arcade game.
Yeah,
But then it was on Sega Genesis, maybe?
it looks like it.
What year?
It looks like it. Anyway, they were
August 89.
It's that old.
Yeah.
Okay, Soviets makes sense then. My bad. I thought it was like a 92 because I assumed it was a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo.
It would've
came
been
out
weird.
91 in Japan as Super Famicom. I learned this by watching documentaries. And then in 92 was released here in North America. Gave us Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World and Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time.
Great game. Great game. Probably the best Ninja Turtles game of all time.
Oh, it's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to join us in our quest to beat the Soviets,
You
please
guys are
feel
gonna
free.
do it.
Jump on in. It's you start down 11-8 now, and you got to come back and win that. And the aces are hard. I did get an ace against Soviets last night, though. I got 12 points against the Soviets yesterday. It's gonna take a while, but I beat the Americans, and I was just very happy.
You'll figure it out.
I was just like, it was like, this is.
That's an accomplishment.
Thank you.
I've watched you guys play however many days now.
I was feeling it a little bit too at points yesterday.
Well, we came out, and you should have seen, like, if you want to have the definition of dorks, I mean it. Like, sometimes pop by, because we just got to break, and Matt is jumping around, like, fist pumping, and we go out there, we're high-fiving. I'm sure there was 3 or 4 missed high fives. And then Hernan runs in, and he's like, "You did it! You did it!" And then he came over. It was just beautiful.
If the fact that we have a league based around Tecmo Bowl from 1992, 1993
August 93. This is the
wasn't enough of an indicator that we were dorks, I guess this puts us over the top.
There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
that's
with
true.
being a dork. I'll take it.
No,
Bring
happy to
it.
say
You
I
want to know
am
something?
one.
Bring it on when it comes to Tecmo.
I had a huge day on the machine yesterday as well.
Oh, big comeback.
What'd you play?
Yukon Jack
Who had an
went
awful
up,
day?
Nice.
went up 10-0 on me.
Yeah.
I proceeded to score 42 unanswered points.
Come on.
And get the 42-10 victory.
Uke is, as one of the founding members of this league, and he's one of them with us. He's
Yeah, he
just a
is.
massive disappointment. Like this is it's truly embarrassing.
Did he have to play everybody yesterday?
You know, he took 2 games yesterday, and Hernan he.
That was a game.
I was
It was a
watching that
game.
one.
He got so in that game first, like he gets an interception. He's in field goal range with like 2 minutes to go. He's down by 2, I think it was. Yeah. So he could take the lead. He just needs to run the clock a little bit. Runs a good first down play. Second down, he clicks the wrong button. Rookie mistake. Does a
shouldn't
short
have done it.
yardage play, which he can't do anything. Then third down comes. And he gets to the outside and he cuts out of bounds when he should. Like, one, you don't need to get out of bounds. You need to kill the clock. You don't need to get out of bounds. But he gets out of bounds. He ends up being 3rd and 1. If he doesn't go out of bounds, he probably gets a first down, gets to run a little more clock, game-winning kick. Hernan doesn't get the ball back. Instead, it's 4th and 1. He wanted to go for it. I talked him out of it a little bit. I'm like, you can't do that because he's going to screw it up. He makes the field goal, then he has bad defense, and maybe he should have went for it in the end. I don't know. Hernan gets one big gain. Hernan then marches very quickly and beats him, and then has a lead against you, and then just gets dominated. Guy needs to play more. Coming in once every 5 weeks isn't going to help him.
Tough look.
It'd be nice if he was around more.
Well, it's
like
just
having
even
him.
for him playing, like he has no rhythm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm extremely disappointed in the Sherwood Park Outsiders.
Our Drawson FC is a rookie club.
That's a
looking
good
pretty
rival.
good.
What is that? Strathcona? Or is that Strathcona? Like, what's the overall?
Oh yeah,
is that Strathcona County?
We butt heads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
Our Drawson's really showing Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
Go away. We're the kings of Strathcona County.
Yeah. And he's in a real hoity-toity area of Sherwood Park. So us our Drawson people, we stick together. We band together.
You're a team.
Solidarity.
Like we band our bales of hay together.
You guys are a strong team.
That's right.
Sherwood Park just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Can't come together.
Not on my watch.
Bunch of ball hogs.
That's the worst. I am big time on the Chilean Seabass bandwagon just because of team name and the guy that's running that team.
Hernan's good. I've got to figure out a game plan for Hernan because he runs with his quarterback.
You want to know the game plan for Hernan?
What?
Rattle him.
Like
Get up to an early lead.
physically hit him?
No, get up to an
Strike
early
him.
lead. And then he
Okay, so
starts
take the
getting
ball.
down on himself. It's
Okay.
like, oh, the game sucks and you're cheating. He just is like that, and then don't let go.
He gets like that
And
sometimes.
then he'll stop thinking properly and he'll do stupid things, and you just take advantage.
Okay.
He gets like
That's
that.
him.
He was,
I've yet to play Dusty.
Me too.
Hernan was very spicy yesterday to open up his show. Did you guys hear him?
Oh, was he ever?
I think
People
rightfully
at the
so.
tailgate were talking about it.
Were they?
Oh yeah.
Nice,
Oh,
good.
yeah.
We will talk. We gotta talk Elks and we will talk
Yeah.
Tailgate. But like he was mad.
Pew pew. Like he was guns a blazing. And like Gager's sitting there going, wow. I enjoyed that opening to his show. It was the heat, the passion. It was all there. It was good.
And this is to do with Trent Frederic potentially signing.
Yeah.
I think
the
there
8x4, and then he also like what really set him off is that which this hasn't even been reported yet. But and if there's a no move or a no trade clause, and he just lost.
I believe he said,
kinda
drag
right.
me outside and put me out of my misery.
Yeah. He's
That's
kinda
what I
right about
laughed
that
at.
Yeah,
no
that's
trade.
when I was like, oh, this is good.
He's right, but also at the same time, don't worry about a no move, no trade until we see that it's reported that he got a no move for no trade. Maybe.
Okay, I presented this on our show, the Reed Wilkins show,
With Jay Milne, 3 to
from
6,
3 to 6.
Monday through Fridays, and Edmonton Sports.
Monday
Soccer,
through
your choice for
Fridays.
Edmonton Sports.
Boom.
But usually, okay, and Tom, you're the guy that's tuned in and plugged into everything Oilers. Is this as good as a done deal if you have like a Frank Saravalli reporting on it? And
It's legit. Like Frank's not all. Well, Frank's good, obviously. Frank's one of the best. Him, Pagnotta, Frege, Dregs. Those are probably the top 4 in the league right now. LeBron's pretty good too. CJ gets good stuff, and then there's like other people like that throw up some stuff out there. But yeah, Frank's usually pretty dialed in.
If this was just Andy Strickland, I would say wait off.
Andy's pretty good actually.
He is, but he misses.
He does.
He has misses.
Yeah.
And that's where, when Andy put this out, there was one, okay, this is something to keep an eye on, but I
Yeah.
want to hear when the names you mentioned say something.
Yeah.
And because he has his misses. And once Frank says it, then it's like, okay.
so,
That's fair.
okay, then are you, let's say, okay, this is going to happen. Are you most surprised with the term or the value? Or both?
Term. Value, no, Jay, because months ago, like right after Frederic got traded to Edmonton, the talk was part of why things fell apart in Boston for him, on top of the fact the team sucked in Boston, they were getting rid of everybody, was he was trying to get for $4+ a year. And they're like, we're not giving you $4+ a year. And so they shipped them off.
Come
tried
to
get some
Edmonton.
asset.
They'll give you $4+ per year.
I mean, it's going to be somewhere around 4. Yesterday, oh God, I love and I hate this. It's part of the game, and it's just, we put out the video. Good job, Benny, on that. And then like people respond, they give their take on it. You know, most people don't like the term. I don't like the term. I think 8 years for a 27-year-old third, fourth line guy is crazy. And Matty summed it up good. Like that's something that should be reserved for your stars. You know, that length. Anyway, this is just me blowing off some steam. People are like, well, it's not going to be 4, but it's not going to be 3.5. So it's going to be close to 4, but not. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why are we splitting hairs? Like, it's going to be somewhere around 4 is the like roundabout number. Anyway, yeah, Jay, it's
Whatever happened to a 3 or 4 year deal?
3 and 4 year deals are still long commitments, but
They are.
And
8 is, like you said, reserved for superstars.
it should be. Matty was right when he said that. I'm surprised by that, but when I was asking people about that, I was told that his camp said that they believe they can get $4 million by 7 years on the market, and that was kind of the counter to get Edmonton to take this seriously and then up it. So.
Before I just, C-Ron says, how can Edmonton give 8 years? I don't know the rules around 8-year deals. You could give a team that has the rights to a player can give 8-year deals for an extension. Once July 1st hits and they become an unrestricted free
Yes.
agent, that is off the table because that team does not own their rights anymore. The max is 7. So any other team can only hold 7. But that's where it's like you will see sometimes, let's do a hypothetical. The Leafs know that they're not going to sign Mitch Marner. They allow Marner to speak to teams ahead of time, and the Kings are like, we want to sign him, but they want to do an 8-year deal.
Yes.
The Kings could make a trade with the Leafs, send them something, get the rights to Mitch Marner, and sign him on June 30th for an 8-year contract extension. But if the Kings wait till July 1st, they can only do a 7. So the team that has the rights to a player prior to July 1st, you can sign, because you could sign an extension to any contract a year in advance.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why McDavid officially can sign his contract. July 1st is the first day available to sign an extension before he becomes a free agent
Next year.
26.
But only with Edmonton.
Yes.
Only with Edmonton.
Because
That's a big
people
caveat as
misinterpret
well.
that. Yeah.
Well,
And there's no offer sheets coming to Connor McDavid.
no,
this
there's none of that.
offseason.
No.
But that team has that 1 year to offer 8 years. But the moment they become an unrestricted free agent, the moment 10 a.m. Mountain Time, July 1st comes, it's a 7-year deal max. Even if the team they're re-signing with the same team.
Yeah.
So that's how they can do it. The Oilers have the rights to Trent Frederic. They can then give him 8 years up until July 1st at 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah.
So that's why that's 8. But no one else, if he hits the UFA market, no one else could do that.
Then
So
give him 7.
it's an incentive the NHL and PA put into their contracts to try to convince players to stay more as well.
Yeah,
a
it's-
loyalty thing almost. That one team has that advantage going, we can give you 8 as opposed to
You get
the
that
7.
security.
So
So
just want to get that one out there.
Trent Frederic, the biggest concern here is the unknown.
I agree.
This player was acquired, injured, then got injured again in the first 7 minutes. He stepped on the ice for the Oilers.
yeah,
He
Activated, let's say.
probably shouldn't have even played, to be
Okay,
honest
but
with you.
and I think from the presser yesterday, you could hear a bit of, at least to him, that he didn't feel he was at his top end game
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
So the Oilers have never seen him at his top end game. I just cannot help but think that they must know more about this situation than any of us do.
Of course they do.
And which, by the way, that's their job.
Yeah.
But Trent Frederic, as a third line center, could demand that valuation if he's able to do, contribute 15 to 20 goals a year as a third line center at $4 million. Hey, in 3 years you're going to be looking at that contract saying, and who knows the career path of Trent Frederic.
Yep.
I'm just trying to present a positive way to look at this because as of right now, it's been quite negatively received.
It has been, and I'm. You know what? That part of it surprised me, and more people are getting mad about the term. Like we're going like the term's too long. Term's too long.
That's my
But
issue.
the dollar value isn't that bad.
Well, as long as you don't lock them up and say there's no move clauses or no trade
Yeah.
clauses, if it's not going your way in 5 years where the cap's heading, a $4 million deal is going to look like a $2 million deal.
Yes.
But what I don't
And
like
that'll be easier to move.
But what I don't like that is that like you say people like will say that with Bouchard, okay, well the cap's going up, so instead of 10 million, give him 11. And it's whatever, the cap's going up. And then Trent Frederic, instead of 3.5, you give him 4, so there's another $500,000. And then with this player, you give a little more because the cap's going up. And all of a sudden that adds up to $4 or $5 million. And is that a player? Or is that the difference of, we can go and offer this free agent 4 years from now, $6 million. But if we had penny pinched over the last number of years, we can now offer them 7.5. And that would be the difference of this player coming to Edmonton or not.
Yes.
You do have to, just because the cap's going up, I don't like it. The GMs just go, whatever.
It's not the GMs, and you make a good point. It is the players and the agents looking at the cap going up, and they're like, "We're getting our piece."
You're signing the contract, and then
Yeah,
there has to
true.
be a point where it's like, okay, well, we're not. For Trent Frederic, you want 4, and we only want to give you 3.5, and just go to the market then. Like, we'll go find someone else. You're not irreplaceable. There are players that you can go get. So
But-
that's just
okay.
where I sometimes go like the argument of, wow, the cap's going up. But if you say that to all these players and you look back and you add up the difference, that could be the difference of acquiring a certain player or just an entire body. Where I don't like the 8 is because look, if Trent Frederic is Evander Kane, let's say the replacement,
That's
and he
what they
produces
want.
at that.
Yeah.
What's Evander Kane? 5? Something like that.
5.25.
Yeah.
If he's producing with what Evander Kane was giving you, you are making a savings for the next number of years, right?
And that's a good point. And we should look at Evander Kane and his total, not staying healthy, obviously brutal injuries and all that, but he's a 20-goal guy, Evander Kane.
So if Trent Fredric's
50
a
points.
20-goal guy,
And 40 to 50 points, then and you're getting that grit and muscle
sure, 4
at
million's
4
nothing.
instead of 5.25.
You're laughing.
If you look at it that way, yes. Yeah.
You're laughing.
Yeah.
But where I don't like this is I think
That's an if, though.
the other side to this is if I'm a GM, which I'm not, but I am a 4-time winner of a fantasy football league.
Oh, God.
But if I was, I'd have to look at, okay, how do I get out of contracts if I need to?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the problem I have with this 8-year
That's
one,
fair.
is that if Trent Frederic, because of the unknown, we don't know what he's like with the Edmonton Oilers because he hasn't been healthy.
True.
And maybe he
That's
doesn't
fair.
work. Some players just don't work in markets.
Yep.
And maybe he doesn't work. And let's say 2 years from now, you're looking at this going, man, this just isn't working.
Well, then protect your no move.
I know, but getting rid of a guy for
this
6 years at 4 is a lot tougher than getting rid of a guy at 2 years at 4.
Absolutely.
That's the problem I have with the 8-year term is just...
That's where I'm saying.
If things go bad, the 4 isn't scary to me. Getting rid of a $4 million player isn't scary, especially with the cap going up.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you have to then convince a team that he has 5-6 years left on this deal. That's the part where I go, are we going to have a couple years from now where we're going, how are they going to, they're going to have to buy this guy out. And I hate buyouts. Buyouts are the worst. I like salary retention because at the end of the contract, it comes off. It's not added on after that. But it's just the term. If this came in at 6 years, even 5 years, I'd be like, awesome deal. I would actually go awesome deal.
I'd happily give him the $4 million.
But it's the fact that he's getting 7-8 is where I go. I hope the Oilers, for their sake, are right on this one because the trade has not looked good right now. They gave up money. They gave up extra assets for salary retention. They didn't need that salary retention. He didn't exactly help this team this year.
No, that's true.
Now you're giving him 8 years at market value to a degree. Let's see what happens.
Completely valid. And I was thinking, I'm like, okay, let's take a step back and look at the big picture with Trent Frederic. People were clamoring for him going into it. They need to get bigger. They need tougher. They need to go get Trent Frederic. They went and got Trent Frederic. And then they get a taste of him, like Maddie was saying, maybe at like 55, 60%. And they're like, oh, we don't need Trent Frederic at that. But it's,
Tom, Oilers fans still have that 7 minutes he played in that regular season game in LA.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Yeah, you're right.
He looked impressive. He looked like a battering ram.
Well, hurt.
He looked like an No, he hadn't fully re-aggravated that. Right?
Well, it took him what was his first shift? Like 21 seconds or something?
I think it was right off the draw, one back to Doughty.
It was
Doughty goes up the ball.
And he hit him in the bench.
But then he played through that.
Yeah.
Played 7 minutes that
And he
night.
looked good.
Hernan and I were here. We were talking about. We're like, not good.
I remember exactly. I was driving in Sherwood Park and I was listening to the game because it was an interesting time because finally this acquisition is going to take the ice and somebody that's supposed to bring the pain, somebody that's supposed to bring some grit, everything this team needed. And he comes out and I was listening to it. So I had. I think it was Cam and Bob, and Bob just was deflated. It's no.
Well, his trade didn't work. I'm just kidding. Saw Bob last night in the press box at Commonwealth too.
What? Busy press.
He was
we
suited.
got the text. Turn and text us that.
Yeah.
There's a full house. It sounded
Bob
like.
had a busy day. I saw him at the rink, and then I saw him at Commonwealth. I have a funny story for you guys later. Not for the air, But Jay, you're right. Like there was all this build up for him, and we had to wait to see him make his Oilers debut. We were told 10 to 14 days, like for 3 weeks, 10 to 14 days. It's not healing. It's not healing. It's like, well, what's going on with his ankle? High ankle sprain. Okay, this is not good. And then you're right. Like he gets out there and re-injures it. Looks ginger. Plays that 7 minutes. Doesn't play another game till the playoffs.
And the other side of this too is they're already in a tight cap situation. What is it, 11.6?
Right now.
Available right now. Let's
I
say
think they're going to
Kane
move on.
comes off the books.
Yeah, they're going to move on.
Okay, so that's 5.2. I don't know how strong of a belief, but there has been conversation about Victor Arvidsson potentially moving his...
I'll say something about that. I was told during the season that he was open to a trade. And I didn't want to say anything, but...
Okay,
yeah.
So maybe a player that doesn't want to be here, that over the offseason might drop that.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
So, okay, you're doing that, but, you have Evan Bouchard, who you have to sign, right?
Yeah,
That's
pretty much
got to happen. And that's an interesting one because no matter what happens, and this is a very polarizing player.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get a bag.
Yep.
He's going to get a very large bag
Yep.
for his offensive prowess.
Yep. And to the people that are like, he's a $6 million guy, I wouldn't give him more than 4. I understand you wouldn't, but where the league is at for that type of player, the money is about 10, 11 million.
Well, the other way to look at it is, okay, so you're going to let him walk and somebody's going to give him 10.5 or 11
or more.
or more,
And then you get a bunch of draft picks.
right? Is that where you want to be? Is that a good place to be leading up to a year where you have to re-sign Connor McDavid, or you want to extend his contract this summer? I don't think so.
The compensation, yeah. I don't think anyone wants to give up that much for Bouchard.
So if there's a threshold of 4 first rounders. Below that is 2 firsts, I think, or is it 3? I can't remember the offer sheet situation. If you lose Bouchard, everyone's gonna be like, well, you got to replace Bouchard, and well, that's the thing. Like, it's how are you replacing Evan Bouchard at this point?
Yeah.
So, and if you sign him, you can't trade him. No, that's if he gets offer sheeted. So he'll be a guy that has a no move clause coming too. Be aware of that
8
one.
no moves right now at forward and 2 on defense. Like, it's insane.
I'll say that when we get to the second hour, we'll get into the Elks because I do want to discuss them. I want to throw something your guys' way that Dusty brought up, I think, on two guys yesterday. And I hope I'm not putting words in his mouth. But I thought I heard this. The idea of trading Matthias Ekholm. Where did he come out on that? Where, like, he's a 35-year-old. He's got 1 year left. Great player, warrior, but at the point, he's moving on at the right time. If you were to move on from a Matthias Ekholm, where you can get something for him, and you try to replace him that way. Where, like, how much longer are you going to get Matthias Ekholm when you're looking at his age and production? Is this a good time to possibly now coming off an injury, and if he's hurt, that this completely takes away that whole for next year. Then it takes away that whole conversation. But is this a time where you would possibly try to look at a Matthias Ekholm move?
I would say no. I look at him and what he can still do on the ice when healthy. There's still game left, obviously. I think he'll be able to play a couple more years. I know he has 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah.
He is also... So he basically lives in Edmonton now. This is one of the few guys that, like, stays here. I'm sure he goes back to Sweden, visits family, all that stuff, but, like, not a lot of guys stay here. Like, Cam Talbot was the last guy that lived in Edmonton 12 months a year. Letestu kind of did, but everybody else is, like, out of town. Like, they'll come here in the summer to check on their house or whatever, but most guys, they get the hell out of Dodge when it's summertime and the season's over. Matthias Ekholm, to me, being around the team, talking to him, seeing him, watching him on the ice, obviously, he's a guy that I would want in the organization when he's done playing. I'm being serious. Like, I think he is like such a good person and also a very good hockey person that if I could, I would find a way to get him in on the hockey ops side of things somehow. Find a role for him. There's going to be some turnover on the front office side this year. Or there's expected to be some natural turnover. It's a new regime with Jackson and Bowman. He's a guy that I personally, this is just my opinion, I would want to keep in the organization because he is that culture building type of hockey guy and just person in general. Seriously. So I would not trade him. I value him.
That's fair enough.
To that degree where I'd be like, he's an Oiler now. I'm keeping him as an Oiler. And I think he could be a really good piece for this organization going forward. That's how
fair
I
enough.
look at him.
Yeah,
I think he's great that way.
It came up and before I would have been like, not a chance. But I was like, sometimes you do have to.
Who's
try
the
to
Oilers'
sell
best
where it is.
defenseman last year? Defenseman.
It wasn't.
It was Darnell because
think it was
Matthias
Ekholm.
Ekholm was hurt.
Yeah. And that's the other part of this is that they actually look pretty good without Matthias Ekholm in the playoffs.
I mean that as the answer you gave.
That it was
right. Like, I'm not saying yes, go ahead and he's 100% expendable, but this team's doesn't really have the luxury to just keep every piece. Right? There's gonna be
Sometimes tough decisions have to be made.
Yeah, sure.
And I have time for that tough decision a little bit.
You know what?
If it comes up. But now he is hurt, and I think maybe actually the reverse to this is is there an LTIR situation you could potentially do with Matthias Ekholm? And okay, so I'll actually quickly on the LTIR situation. One thing I read was the NHL is looking at the surgery Evander Kane had and whether the surgery was necessary, the knee surgery, whether that was necessary.
Well,
that's what they're looking at, is whether there was a surgery that was necessary or not, which is different from the other teams. The other teams, the players were hurt, but then they didn't have an added surgery to it. That's what the NHL is apparently looking at, is the knee surgery that Evander Kane had. Was that a necessary surgery at that time?
I heard that argument yesterday, and Maddie, I'm glad you brought it up. Like,
I just saw that this morning.
The premise of it is what I'm like scoffing at.
That he had surgery for no reason.
What are you doing? Like, do you think a guy's just choosing to? He's not getting like, what is that? BBL. He's not getting a Brazilian butt lift electively. Like, he needed something done to fix his knee.
You're not going under the knife just for the sake of going under the knife.
Like, come on.
Surgeon just opening you up a little, doing, and then, okay, how long do we have to do this?
That's commitment. That's commitment.
We're good.
Yeah, like, what?
The scope is what he got, and it's a very uninvasive surgery.
Yeah, I had a scope before, and you're back like 2 weeks later. You could do stuff. Now listen, did they extend? Did they milk it?
A scope.
It was something to clean up something in the knee. Like something happened.
But they did something. In
it was a
scope is doing that, but it's not
But you're cleaning something up.
Yeah,
you're taking out something.
The premise that it wasn't necessary. Like, I'm just gonna have surgery. You know why? I'm gonna extend my time that I'm gonna be out so our team can do LTIR. Like, that to me is ridiculous. Now, is it convenient? Was there something lingering and they decided to do it? Sure. I understand you can make that argument. Like, well, he could have played without the surgery and then gotten it in the off season. But really, like, if it was something that needed attention and they decided to do it then and it happened to prolong the rehabilitation process and they utilized it LTIR-wise, the Oilers are not the first team to do this. No. They're not. And it was like, he's not going in there. I just feel like having surgery. You know what, guys? I'm going to have surgery today. For fun.
Elective?
Yeah, S&Gs. Let's do a surgery.
I want a couple days off.
Yeah.
EST. I'm just going to have him look at my knee.
I want forearm implants. Like, it's so stupid.
I was going to say they could use a little meat.
They're quite
on
dainty.
Yeah, it was weird. I feel like, did they probably need to do a scope sooner? Probably.
Sure.
Did they wait to the proper time to do it to prolong things? Sure.
Well,
but I don't think they went into his knee without needing to go into his knee.
But
thank you.
That's the one thing I don't buy that in any way, shape, or form.
Then why that silly, overblown one-on-one press conference with Evander Kane from his home
his own
office?
person.
That's how he is.
That's just how he needs to be in the spotlight.
That just drew so much more attention to it than necessary. Yeah. Nobody needed to know that was
Jay,
unnecessary.
He didn't need to literally drive half a block from the hotel in LA Live to Crypto.com arena in a what was he driving?
In a
Lambo.
Yeah.
Like that. That's who he is. Okay. And that's part of
he needs the attention.
That's part of why he drives his teammates crazy and has in other organizations, has in this organization. So that press conference where I've used this quote where he's like, "I'm good off coming off the couch." Clever, good quote. I've been using it because it is a good one. But that's who he is and always has been and always will be. He's showman, flash, look at me. It will never change.
Can I just say one more thing on the Trent Frederic deal?
No.
Or potential deal?
No. Sure.
And this is going to sound funny, but I'm just going to go with it. Anytime I've ever had a Boston Bruins related question, I've always gone to my cousin's husband, who is the most diehard Bruins fan.
Okay.
I mean that. Like, every game, he dresses like a complete idiot every year we go to the Boston game when they come here. So I just asked him, I said, what do you think of this Trent Frederic deal? You've seen him play in Boston. He says he was hit and miss in Boston. His last season was pretty solid, seemed to find his game a bit. He's a good bottom six guy who can play center and right wing. If they can develop him properly and put the right pieces together, he might be the price tag if he can stay healthy. He's had upper body injuries and a concussion. The thing is the center aspect of this. If you can drag, I mean, that's what he's played his whole life.
And you guys were talking about that yesterday, I remember. And that was a good conversation.
You know, if you can get a third line center out of this at that valuation, who does blossom into a bit more of a role player, but can also contribute offensively, I don't mind it.
You know, when you guys were talking about that yesterday, Jay, I thought to myself, okay, if you're getting him 8 years, somewhere around $4 million, maybe a little bit less, sure, whatever. And he does end up playing center because he said he grew up playing center and he's happy to slide around. Obviously, he played wing here. Could that also have a domino effect?
Yes.
Where Adam Henrique goes back to wing, where he's probably better suited.
Yeah.
Because he played all year center this year, except for a couple of games. And he had to change his game, and we asked him about that, taking on a more defensive role. We're talking about how Henrique was a ghost in the playoffs for the most part. Potentially, if they explore that option of putting Frederic at center and he succeeds there, then you could put Adam Henrique on the wing, and maybe he finds a little bit of the magic, and he doesn't look slower, and he doesn't look like he lost his game, and maybe he starts chipping in more, and maybe he doesn't become a 50-point guy again, but maybe you get 30 to 40 out of Adam Henrique for one more year, and you're going, you know what, that was okay. There's still a good player there at 34, 35. Yes.
As we're talking about Evander Kane, he just quote tweeted.
You got very excited.
Yeah, because I just went on Twitter for a second and saw that he's currently going at a podcast right now. Jets at noon. I have it up on the screen right now.
What is it?
People. So
tell us.
So it's a clip where they're talking about Evander Kane and his attitude, and he quote tweets it. Hold on, let me find. He quote tweets it saying, "My goodness, talk about fabrication. Here are the 5 facts," and lists off a bunch of facts I guess they probably talked about. Jets at noon. Talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, never played in Kootenay as a 15 or 16-year-old as a rookie, like you claim I did. Played one single game in Kootenay. And it was in my last year junior. I won a Memorial Cup when I was 15. Also, I never won a WHL championship. Jim's a liar and a hater, but lucky for him, he's not alone.
Jim's a
liar and a hater, but lucky for him, he's not alone.
I think this is Jim Toth.
Sensitive much?
Jets
he
noon.
watches everything.
Yeah,
but I mean-
but I mean, we were just talking
Yeah.
about how he enjoys the spotlight.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the claims he's saying that are false?
Oh, these are
everything about the
junior hockey
juniors.
stuff.
It's everything about
Yeah.
the juniors.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
He does.
If I had to guess, like, I don't.
Oh,
like,
sorry. They said you won a WHL championship and you never did. Oh,
You want a Mem Cup, though.
So I think someone joined that podcast and talked about playing against Kane and Junior or something, or something along the lines of that, and Kane is now quote tweeting it as we were literally talking about Evander Kane and how he enjoys the
I wonder if
spotlight.
he's listeling right now, Ben.
It wouldn't shock me.
If you could say one thing to Evander Kane, non-hockey related, what would you say?
I like your suits.
They
I would ask-
are
yeah,
really
he's got-
nice.
he's got pretty good
great
suits.
I would ask him who advised him on that press conference he had from his home office on going green on green.
Oh,
Oh, that was weird. Yeah.
was weird.
Whatever.
yeah. Yep, that's a valid question.
Of all
I'll
the
have to go
questions.
see this after. I'll
Yeah.
have to look
I'm
because
curious. Yeah.
yeah, I'll have to because
He watches
Maybe
and
Toth has
he
this
knows
wrong.
everything. He keeps tabs. He really does. Listen, man, like he's a smart guy. First of all, he's a very good and talented hockey player. He's a smart guy, but the personality has been a hindrance for him since he played junior.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's done a lot of good things in the community. He's good with people around town. That's smart, right? I love what he does with Cecily. It's great. I love when he meets random people, at a Canadian Tire or whatever. That stuff is good because people look up to these guys, especially kids. That's good that he does that. But there is other stuff that's a problem, and his act's worn thin here. That's why Pegs was saying on Hello Hockey, they tried to trade him at the deadline. Benny, you're the producer on that show, and then finally Fried said it the other day. What Pegs put on our show 2-3 months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's why we're talking going into this year. Reed said, hey, if he doesn't come back this year, I think he's done as an Oiler. That's what Reed was saying. It's just, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, no more of this. That's what has happened with other organizations and is pretty much happening here.
Yeah. Has a shorter shelf life for teams than other guys.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
That's fair.
We'll leave it at that. Listen, man, he's a hell of a hockey player.
Yeah.
He really is. And I'm jealous of the physical attributes he has and the talent for the game he has. But there's more to the game than just being raw talent.
It's true.
Yeah, and just like he's taken a offense to a story Jim Toth has of, and like it's about Evander Kane being a rookie in Cranbrook, and that he jumped in front of a line as a rookie for a post-game meal and stuff. And I'm just and what I can see is Kane is right that he didn't play in Cranbrook in that rookie season. He only played there in his last year, so it's Jim Toth's story. Like he's trying to be like, well, this rookie thinks like he has this attitude, they can jump to the front of the line, and veterans are supposed to go to the front of the line. Well, he was the veteran actually at that time. If I'm looking at this right, so that's where he's coming. Like, all right. I don't care. Like Jim Toth got He said Jim Toth in there was like, I think he won a WHL title, and Kane's like, I won a Memorial Cup. I never won a WHL. You're splitting hairs there. Like I can understand why one person would think back in 2009 or whatever that you won a title that you would have thought maybe WHL over the Memorial Cup. I can understand that part. Where he misremembered which title you won. I don't think you need to make that 2 points there. But the first two, that's fair. I never played in Cranbrook. If I'm Evander Kane in those years. Yeah. You're saying I did as a rookie and I jumped the line. That's not true. I only played there as a vet in my last year.
And listen,
we also don't need to get into this.
True. In Kane's defense, he is a target for things, and he probably does get some not friendly fire, but he gets in the crosshairs of people very easily because of his personality. So he does get some of that, right? Like, he's an easy target.
We ripped Kevin Durant for getting into it on Twitter with people. Evander Kane can get ripped for going into it with people too. You don't need to do this one. You could just let it be. Who cares what Jets at Noon's saying?
He probably gets fed up with some of it too. He gets some of that, right?
Just
but now, so you're showing that it gets to you.
Sure.
Go for a drive in one of your 5 Lamborghinis.
Like what Jets at Noon is saying. Who cares about a Jets podcast for you?
Well,
like if this is Elliot Friedman, or if this is one of the top, like a national podcast that goes across the two countries and hockey world all flocks to, I could see you being like, this is wrong. But just what? So now like a podcast in Carolina is going to say something about Evander Kane. He's going to quote tweet that one. It's just something from Winnipeg. Who cares?
Fair. Maybe he just got fed up. But anyway, listen, man.
Well, it's breaking the wall in between fans assuming or thinking that players don't give a what about what
they really
said
do.
In the media.
They do.
Right.
Just don't let them
almost
show
be
it.
hard, but it's very rare that they show it publicly like that.
That's true. That's a good point.
This is the EST Angle presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts. Tom Gazzola, Jay Milne, Iwanyk, Benny the intern with you here on the Hangout. Portions of this hour of the EST Angle, they are brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of EST, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. We'll get to our over-under for Play Alberta in the second hour. We'll continue in the nasty chat in the Paris Jewelers inbox. We will now right away talk Elks, but how was Tailgate for you and Trip?
It was really cool. I got to meet a lot of the people that listen to the station, so that was pretty cool. It was good. Just handing out some chips and water and chatting up with some people, getting excited for the game. It was a lot of fun. It was exciting. I can't wait to do it again.
You and Trav, I went and saw them really quickly. Shout out to Andrea, Jay. I saw a Teef. Good to see Wheels there. He had his Elks gloves on too. His receivers gloves. Yeah. And I saw Turf District, Andrew and Kayla. Man, Tailgate's awesome. And then the boys, they were super pumped. They had the new tent. You guys had good energy. It was
got the cornhole going.
Oh
yeah,
the
cornhole was going.
Yep,
Dave in Section T, I saw him in the crew.
Yep.
So Scout offered me the salt and pepper wings, and then Dave was doing, I think, cheesesteaks. And I had a white shirt, and I still got it dirty yesterday.
That's pretty bold going into tailgate in your seat
I know,
to a
and
TV broadcast.
Because I said no to like even the wings, even though they're salt and pepper. but I'd be so tempted to dip them in something. And there's a lot of barbecue sauce around there. And then I think there was smash burgers happening at Turf District. The ironic thing is, like, I'm like, no, I can't. I'm going to get this shirt dirty. I still got it dirty. When
It didn't show on camera.
It was in a spot where it was like, but
We didn't
behind
see it
the
on
jacket.
camera.
Thank you. And I got to have dinner with Dwayne and Rod Smith. Rod Smith is just a very nice
Where do
guy.
you guys eat?
They moved it to the Jackie Parker room.
Okay, that's because it used to be in the media center,
So Larry's,
but now it's that suite. So I
it's
never
the
thought of
owner's
that.
suite now.
Okay,
And
so
it's-
there's
it
a
makes
spot for
sense. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't.
I got that damn shirt dirty. Yeah, I got home yesterday. I'm looking, I'm like, I just washed this one. And I'm like, barbecue sauce. You guys were good though. Your energy was good.
good.
Yeah, people
Lot of
were
fun.
excited.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was
good.
great. It was great. Yeah, played some.
I'm jealous.
cornhole. Yeah, no.
Did you sell any scars? I saw that
We
one
sold
lady.
two.
Well,
Okay.
actually, and I didn't give them a float.
Yeah,
So people wanted
we,
to break.
We missed out on another 2. Scarves,
And then, but people are asking for hats, so I'll have to send them with more stuff.
Yeah, people
And
are
Zach.
asking about, like, we could have had a whole merch store.
We'll have to do a little bit more.
That's okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
a learning experience.
You know what, Koo? Nobody can expect you to do everything right the first time. Learning, right?
Well, we were there last year.
You're learning on the job. You're learning,
one kinda
you know,
popped
what
up.
the needs are. But you didn't have merch last year,
Well, but like we could have done, like they asked last year, and so like the idea had come up
But you
from
didn't
last
trust
year.
them yet.
Did we
I
get
didn't trust them. Yeah.
Yeah.
the
No,
the
I
table
still didn't
skirt?
get that. I asked again for it.
Okay, that
So I
would be
gotta get
good.
that.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing. We just get that table skirt and it looks
It's
professional.
just one of those.
It
like,
looks really good already.
Yeah, I do get worried a little bit more with the higher priced items.
I wouldn't worry about
But
it.
no, I'm good. I'll send some. But it was also like, look, the Oilers just ended.
Yeah,
You could
Like,
feel
it
that
was-
yesterday.
It was
Did you?
one of those.
Yeah.
You could feel that.
But even just getting things ready for the tailgate, like it was like, well, when was Game 6? Was Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I got some stuff, but it's like, okay, we're getting ready for Game 6 right now. Like we've got that, so I didn't have time to get ready for tailgate as full. So
It's okay.
we got a couple weeks.
I wanna say like 75% of the conversations yesterday were about the Oilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like
which is okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it is what it is.
It's fine. This team went almost as far as you could.
It's the end of the
Heartbroken
season.
again. Connor McDavid has his, said
I'm not
some
going
words
into that one.
yesterday, which we don't have to. I mean,
He's staying.
it's
Yeah, he's.
Hernan and I got into it off air.
I'll add one more thing. I'm not gonna say which players. I talked to. So I ended up going to the rink after we finished up yesterday, and I caught the end of Connor's press conference, and then I just ran into a couple of the players as they were leaving the arena, and I just said, "Hey, you guys had a good year. Just appreciate your time all season long, whatever." And one of them was like, "We're a good team, man. Like we're gonna win one. Like it's a process. We're gonna." And the way he was saying it was like he's trying to like convince himself. He's like, "We're gonna win one." And I'm like, "I know. Like you're good. You guys are a very good team." And it hurt them. Obviously, it really did. So the feeling very much prominent yesterday in and around the stadium, and the players are feeling it too. And I'm just telling you my experience with them firsthand when I talked to them yesterday, away from the microphones.
The official drink of the EST Hangout is the Finnish long drink, legend in 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment. Real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada. It's where you can enter your postal code, find a liquor store and establishment nearest you with the long drink in stock. That would have been a nice drink to have watching the game yesterday. I should put some of those in the fridge. I got a little bit more. We'll remember that for next Tuesday. Let's get to Hangout headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time today. Visit theranchgolf.com. Let's get into this game a little bit. Elks fall to the Owls yesterday, 38-28. They dropped to 0-2 on the season. I will say the score flattering the Elks more than it should probably, based on how that game actually did play out. But there was a 2-possession game, and there was a point with 2 minutes to go that the Elks had the ball around midfield, and there was a 3rd and 2 play. And had they hit Curly Gittins Jr., who knows what would have happened? And maybe it would have been one more onside kick, or they could have got the ball back. Jay and I had our post-game thoughts already, so we'll get into it. But Tommy, just your thoughts.
On the game last night. Yeah. Listen, like you're right, the score flattered the Elks because the late push in garbage time, it was already well in hand for Montreal. I do think Davis Alexander, if the game was closer, would have gone back in. think he's okay. I think they're just protecting him, giving MBT some time.
The gold miners are very happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be okay. Hell of a player, off to a great start in his career. The defense needs work. Obviously, and Nick Anderson talked about that post game, and you could talking to Mark Killam too. Like, execution keeps coming up, but the talent is there. I think that theme from week one is like the right pieces are there. It's just getting it in sync. And this is Maddie, you're right. Like, I know we were optimistic going into the season, but this is a bit of a murderer's row to start the year, and the 0-3 is very real possibility. Offensively, man, it's going to take time, I know, but it feels like always scrambling is a bad recipe to make offense happen. You got to execute on the playbook on the offensive side of the ball. I know they went to Dunbar a little bit more, but that's a big question mark to me after that game. Even though Montreal's defense is so good, guys, too. How many tip balls? How many times did they flush out Trey? After, I know his instinct is to get out of the pocket. I still think they're going to be okay because they have the talent. But yeah, it's still frustrating yesterday.
In thinking about it more, sleeping on it, waking up, I'm wondering, and I'm going to ask you, Matt, as someone who claimed to be the president of the Trey Ford fan club.
Still the president.
Okay, so last year it was give Trey the ball. Let Trey cook. Trey deserves this. Okay, you got it. Long-term deal.
Yeah.
Trey's the guy. Mm-hmm. What does the president of the Trey Ford fan club think now?
It's a few things. I said it on the postgame show. Right now, I feel like Trey's regressed. I feel like Trey's taking a step back right now as a starting quarterback, and I don't like seeing that. It seems like last year or the year before, it looked like the game had slowed down for him so he could go and make his plays. And now it seems like the game's a little too quick for him again. So I don't know. He doesn't have trust in his O-line. Now, the O-line isn't good. I mean, it needs to be better. But he doesn't have
surprising because
it was good last year.
The names on the O-line are good.
But and then Beard got hurt at the end, and Killam didn't provide an update for that after. But
yeah,
it seems like he doesn't have trust in his pocket. The guy has ability still. I've seen it. Like, you're a little questioning the tight windows he was throwing into.
In a positive way.
Right, but he's hitting those. Like,
he's able to put the ball in tight spots.
He has an arm strength. We see it at times, and he has an accuracy because we see it at times. But he's not consistent enough with that, and that you need to start developing more. The one thing, though, I will add on this is I want him to get the ball, but through 2 weeks, I'm not worried yet, because this is why I got mad at Chris Jones last year, and I wanted a full season because I didn't know what Trey Ford was as a starting quarterback, and we didn't see enough of it. And now we're coming to this season where we still don't know what he is fully as a starting quarterback, and you have to give him time so we can evaluate and see what he is as a starting quarterback. And there is going to be development. And one thing I have said throughout the whole entire offseason, and I said it all last year, is there are going to be growing pains with Trey Ford as your starting quarterback, because he is not Nathan Work.
You can't turn on him in 2 games.
You can't. And he was asked Killam after the game, was there any thought to put Cody Fajardo in? And it was an immediate no.
Yeah, and that's fair.
No. So there's still a growth that has to come here. He went up against a very good Al's defense yesterday. The other things, I think Jordan Maksimic right now, as Trey is developing, needs to build an offense that maybe suits his attributes a little bit more. And one of his attributes is rolling out and throwing on the run when he throws to the right. And we saw it once yesterday, and he made a great throw. I want more of that a little bit in the game, especially while the O-line is just trying to figure themselves out right now, because that, I feel like, is when he's best. And Trey has to just also develop that confidence in the pocket, that you don't have to run right away. Like we talked about in the postgame yesterday, there's points where he ran out of the pocket too soon, and he got sacked. And then you're like, why are you running out? And then there are times where you're like, Trey, move. And he stayed in the pocket a little too long when he shouldn't have, and he got sacked. And he's just got to figure that out. I think there's still a player there. I'm not ready to turn on him. I'm not ready. I know, and I'm not ready to go Cody Fajardo era. Let's go. But I haven't seen the growth that I wanted to see through 2 games yet. I will say that he hasn't he again, I will say, I think if I go from what I saw last year to this year right now, I would say he has regressed. Like,
And I'm not saying that to say get Trey out of there. I think we saw some brilliant throws from Trey Ford. Simply put, brilliant. But I do agree, and I'm glad you brought that up, and Tommy, you certainly agreed with that, is the progression here. And there is learning. There is maturity that needs to happen here as a quarterback. I'm not talking as a person, obviously. I'm talking as that position. That takes time. And I might even go as far to say that Jordan McSimic is also going through that process with Trey Ford as they both grow and get to know each other's games. Because you cannot deny that Jordan McSimic had a better game plan yesterday than he did in week 1 against BC.
he wanted to run the ball.
You
and he
simply
was
cannot
committed to
deny
it.
that.
Yeah.
And
right?
he did.
They rushed the ball
and it
with
worked.
Javon League and
Rankin
Justin Rankin
touches, yeah.
It was
for-
18 carries for 117.
117 yards. That is a formula that if you can have some growth in your passing game, that's a winning formula. So although we say the offensive line didn't perform well, I don't know. I think they
Well
did all
enough.
right. Yeah. But credit to Montreal.
They have the best
have-
defense in the league.
They do.
By far.
They showed it.
Yes.
That I'm going to butcher the name, but
Uguak.
Uguak.
Yeah. Evanston kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stud. Great piece on them, by the way. That was awesome. And they
Thanks.
showed the mom and his sister in the
Yeah.
crowd. So that is too, and they dialed it up. Like they dialed up some pretty intense, some pretty complicated blitz schemes. I mean, there was one where the Montreal defender made it look like he was dropping back, then turned around a second later and went in and ultimately sacked Trey Ford. But I'm not worried. We talked about this schedule at the start of when it came out. This was, like you said, Tom, a bit of a murderer's row to start the season.
Yeah.
And look, in BC, they were down by 3 heading into the fourth quarter. Yesterday, I honestly feel, and I don't.
Big swing at right before half.
Tom, you read my mind. That play guts you as a team.
Yeah.
You were mad.
Oh man, I was just mad because that is just such a lazy play.
You want to see more compete.
You have to. You go up and fight for that ball like it's your child. Like you attack that ball. That was embarrassing.
And for those, Zach Math, like Trey Ford gets out of the pocket, throws a ball off his back foot, maybe didn't need
He
to
had
go
time
off.
to-
He probably could have
yeah.
stepped up into that. If he did, he probably hits Mathis in the back of the corner, puts a little too much loft on that. So
Yeah.
that's a bit on Trey. But Mathis,
it was there.
Mathis is there to
Like
make
Jay's
a play.
saying.
He's a 6'7" guy.
6'7", yeah.
He's a
There's
giant.
You could, like, we've seen Geno Lewis, we've seen Kenny Lawler in the past. They come,
Waiting
you just
like
go
this.
grab that ball. And instead, he waits with his arms down. He doesn't step forward towards the ball. He just thinks the ball is just going to be placed in my hands. I'm going to get a touchdown.
Go get it.
Instead, the Owls defender, Ento, I think it was, comes in and just, boom, yoink, grabs the ball.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? And this is 100% factual. I know there's plenty of people that are a part of our flag football team that I coach that listen, and they can attest to this.
Go Green Bay Packers.
We practice this every practice. I have the kids line up about 10, 15 yards away from me, and they say, run towards me. I throw the ball up in the air. And I say, attack the ball. Jump. Get it at its highest point, because then you're going to win that battle. If you're standing there like this, somebody else who attacks the ball is going to take it away. This is taught in Adam football. To attack it. At least Zach Mathis is 6'7". If he puts his hands up, that's out of reach. You're at 9 feet. You are.
Yeah, and the
He's
DBs are
standing
maybe
like
6
this.
feet tall, right? Like,
I mean, that is just something that just. And look,
And in the worst
Zach
case,
Mathis.
if they both get there, maybe it's an incompletion.
Maybe.
And it's not an interception. You're kicking a field goal.
Great
Yeah.
point.
Right?
Zach Mathis, young receiver. I surely hope and believe he will learn from that, because I put something out last night, and I wasn't the only one. There was several people that were quite miffed about the lack of effort on that play. That's one play, but that is a momentum shift. And this team has had momentum shift after momentum shift, And last night, I mean, you could have headed into the halftime with the score. What would it have been there? 24-13?
Yes.
Right?
If they score a touchdown, it's 13. If not, you're kicking a field goal 24-9. But
Points.
it's points.
Yeah.
Not an interception, not a deflation
points.
going into half.
And they had that touchdown, the Snead one too. That was
Well, Devondrick Bynum
Had a rough night.
got
Yeah.
exposed on a few plays. I mean, that play for Snead in particular,
wide open.
Bynum's, they're playing a cover 2. So you have Bynum as one safety, Metier as the other safety. Bynum got bit and taken to the middle of the field, which opened up Snead. So it looked like the player that was underneath Snead
Yeah.
was the guy that got exposed. No, that's Bynum's job. He that happens at that level of a play, all bets are off because guys are just wide open.
Yeah.
But not like
Snead
that.
was like waving
Snead,
for it.
Snead,
No, he was
Snead
all
was
over.
standing there like
Yeah.
this because he knew nobody was
There was no
there.
one around him. I will say, speaking of momentum killers, like this was a game we talked about post game. Mark Killam as a rookie coach showed he had a number of flaws in that game. But I'll go to the short kick. You made it a 2-possession game. 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That's a lot of time for both teams to get the football. There's a lot of play of football still to go. There is zero need for a short kick there. And he said after the game, they saw something in film. They thought they could catch the Owls. The Owls caught it though, and then they did get the Owls later. Like they did get one of those, but it was so unnecessary. And he said after, he's like, 3 points is on me. Kill him. That's what he said. And it to me, it's not still just the 3 points. It was that momentum killer though, because you kick that deep. You're not going up against Davis Alexander. That was the turning point of this game. Yeah. Davis Alexander leaving that football game was a huge turning point because I don't know if the defense is getting stops, and I don't think we're talking about a 2-possession football game by the final score if Davis Alexander stays in that football game.
Yeah.
But MBT went in. And I don't know why you just don't put the ball in his hands. Let him have it. You're going to probably get a stop, and what if you march and get a touchdown and it's one score with, let's say, 7 minutes left? Plenty of time to, there was a lot of time left to come back from 2 scores, and instead you make it a 3-possession game immediately because you give them field position right off the bat because you go for that. It was just a huge mistake in my mind from Mark Killam that should not have happened.
And I tried to explain this. I don't know how well I did last night, but I understand that you get that ball and the momentum now goes like this to it's on. That game is almost considered tied at that point in my mind if you get that short kick. But the difference between the deflation of not getting it, it doesn't counterbalance.
Yeah, because if you go out and you get a 2 and out,
the negatives outweigh the positives in that situation, in my opinion.
If you kick it deep and you get a 2 and out, you could get that high still.
Yeah,
you could get maybe not as high as if
but you
recover
continue
that kick,
trending up.
But you're trending up, and then that defense is
That's
now
a great
fired up.
point.
The offense would come on the field going, the boys got us to stop. Let's go and make this a 1-possession game. But that one was just a crusher that was unnecessary. Yeah. And to me, rookie coach in that situation, I like the aggressiveness. And I'll say this: had Davis Alexander still been the quarterback and not been hurt, I would have more time for that call. Actually, I could sit there and accept that Mark Killam going, we made it a 2-score game. We just didn't like what Davis Alexander was doing, so we tried to catch him because if we got that football, it was out of his hands and we could have made it 1 possession, put some pressure on them. But it's MBT. We saw MBT try to jump over guys for 5 yards.
That was funny. I was laughing when I saw that. I was like, whoa, didn't see that last year.
Both Matt and I just started howling because we've seen it. And it's like you saw it in the slow-mo replay. He looks to his left and sees where the yardstick is and says, screw it. I'm going to Superman this.
2 guys.
And there's 2 guys in front of him. And he... It was the most... it was MBT.
He's just out here playing ball.
I mean, hey, I appreciate the guy's effort, but after seeing it for a full season last year and seeing him try and jump for 6 yards, it was just comical.
And look, and there's a few other coaching decisions I could go with Kim. Didn't like the challenge. It was too soon for that challenge.
Yeah,
and it wasn't going to get overturned. Maybe it wasn't a great call initially, but it wasn't going to get overturned because Bynum's arm was on the receiver's arm. It wasn't coming back.
Dwayne and Rod would talk about that. They saw it. They're like, I don't know why you're challenging this.
It's not coming back.
Yeah.
There was the short
Well, they didn't
kick.
have a good angle of that until well after they'd already committed to challenging it.
But that's where you got to take your time. You got to get your people up high with their replay system to do it. and that early, don't go with your gut.
Yeah.
Like, a short kick was an issue. The 2-point conversion, not doing the math properly, I would be there. But I assume, and this doesn't really matter in the end. I just don't understand the punt with 3rd and 5 or whatever from your own 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, fight till the end. If you don't get it, whatever. The Owls are in position. They probably score a touchdown.
I don't know that I've ever seen that watching.
The only time
CFL
I would have
football.
seen it is if team down by like 21 points. 28 points, because now they know for sure, like, this really doesn't matter. But it's a 2-possession game. Just lob one out there.
Yeah, you never know where you're going to get.
Send 2 guys deep, have Trey run to the back of the end zone, like do my Tecmo play, and just lob one down, maybe get a pass interference call or something.
Yeah,
like,
you never know.
Go make a play, Trey.
Go try to do something.
Yeah, kind
like
of that mentality.
Sending a punter out there, you now saying the game's over to me.
And then they got to stop.
And they got to stop. Like, fight till the very end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I that one. And again, it really doesn't matter in things. I don't think it changes the game.
Right.
They likely don't get the first down. The Owls are there. They kick a field goal. They score a touchdown. The game gets put away. But I just want to see that fight till the end. And not calling an offensive play there, to me, is just, we lost this game on to Winnipeg.
Can I ask you guys something? And Maddie, you alluded to like some of Mark Killam's rookie head coaching deficiencies, let's call it, kind of showed
The
yesterday.
growing pains.
Growing pains.
I would say growing
His
pains,
development,
yeah.
that is
He
needed.
knows that. Like,
he has
it's
development
gonna-
that he needs to have.
That's part of the process. Better for it to happen in a game like that early in the season against a team that's probably going to be there at the end of the year than against Saskatchewan in week like 8 or whatever.
When the pressure turns up,
Yeah.
I'm glad he now has the experience
Yes.
to be like, yeah, I got to do this instead of this, because
Yes.
I did it here. Whereas if this was a situation on, let's say, Labor Day, makes that call, and it's more like, you got 16 games now still, as opposed to like 5 games, 6 games left when he makes these mistakes. So more time, a lot longer of a runway to recover from this and grow as a coach.
And truthfully, this is a teaching points for his coordinators too.
Yeah, they need to grow too.
It's not just the head coach that's saying, hey guys, we got to go for 2. That should be your offensive coordinator saying, hey, we got to go for 2 here. So everybody else needs to bring it up a level. But I mean, for Double E fans, you do have to understand that the lights shine a lot brighter on you when you're the head coach, as opposed to an offense coordinator, special teams coordinator, defense coordinator. And that's something he'll work through. He is a smart football mind.
He was pissed last night.
Oh, and he should be.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do feel that this is something that he can obviously overcome.
Yeah.
And like you said, Tom, you'd rather have these mistakes coming in week 2 than week 12.
And against that team.
Yeah.
That's
right.
that's the bar setter right there, that team that you just faced.
That's right. And you know what? To be honest, that game probably shouldn't have been that close anyhow. So the Elks were probably never going to win that game. Okay. So to have those mistakes in what was somewhat of a foregone conclusion, okay, you can deal with that. The one thing I'll say though is, if you want to look at a positive or, towards Mark Killam as something that was positive, was he didn't even flinch when I asked him last week earlier in the week about Vincent Blanchard.
Hey, good point.
He said, nope, this is our guy. I've been around the block with kickers. I know he says he's got an active leg or something. Reed was making talented leg talent. He said, no, this guy's the guy. We're sticking with him. And credit's due where it's due. Vincent Blanchard looked magnificent last night. I mean, those kicks were nothing but dead straight.
It wasn't.
They were
there wasn't-
great.
Yeah, there weren't nerves.
Yeah.
When the ball went in there, you were like, "Ugh." Down the middle.
Yeah.
They were
No
past
question.
the back of the end zone where they landed.
Yeah.
And I was like, those are great kicks.
He was
That's
solid.
a good positive.
He was
yeah.
solid.
That's something you can say,
That was a talented leg on display.
Very,
last night.
very talented leg.
He knows talented legs.
Calling when Rob, the double year better than last year. Had Trey made a few more passes, about 6 less blown coverages by the D, and take away the bad coaching decision on the first onside kick, the Elks are going in the right direction. If we're talking about the same things by game 5 or 6, then Fajardo goes in.
Good point.
That part of that, and where the record is too. Before and Ibutsky, Mathis is a project. Arkel Smith, on the other hand, is a playmaker. What were you gonna say?
Good point too on that one. When we were talking about, thank you, Jay. We were talking about Trey. I forgot. Talking to some of the players, it sounds like, and actually they've said straight up, the new playbook that Maximic is introducing, and Trey and the offense is working with, sounds like it's complicated, and there's like some subtleties and nuance in there that needs some time to get used to. So I'm defending Trey because I still think he's going to be a good quarterback, and I think he should become the leader and the QB of this team going forward. It does sound like this playbook is a complicated one. That was the term that was used to describe it to me by one of the players.
Flip side to this, though, is, because I had this on MBT last year, at some point, though, you have to start winning football games.
Yep.
And this Thursday is going to be
fair.
difficult, and I'm not putting on this one. I look at July 6th when Ottawa comes to town as a game that
Win that game.
You need that win. If you lose that one and you're 0-4, I think the questions will be, okay, when's Cody coming in? When's Cody going to, I think those are fair questions, depending how those losses, I guess, kind of play out as well. But even maybe then, not as much. You need to go get a win, and I don't want to dismiss Ottawa in that sense. But Drew Brown at this moment in his career is not Davis Alexander.
No,
at his point
that's
of his
true.
career. He's not Nathan Rourke. By 4 weeks into this season of gameplay, it's going to be week 5, though, because of the bye week. I expect to see enough positive results that we're sitting there going, at the very least, this team is 1-3.
1-3, yeah.
Right? Like and if maybe they could surprise and get a win on Thursday, and that helps this cause, it's going to be difficult. But you lose that one, now you're really into the snowball effect where it's turning into an avalanche right away, and it's just going to keep coming down. And how do you stop that? So, but at some point, Trey, there is a development, there is growing pains, but you got to go win football games at some point with this team.
My inclination is to dismiss Ottawa, unfortunately. We did it last year, and they had a home set, and Edmonton lost both of them. But the circumstances are way different this year, I think. Anyway, but you're right, Matty. I'm with you on that. In lockstep. Read a liner.
Yeah, I was just saying, over under, Play Alberta. Let's get to it. It's brought to you by Play Alberta. Deposit 20 or more and get a $50 casino bonus when you use EST Casino. Deposit 20 or more for a $50 free sports bet when you use EST Sports or YEG 50. When you deposit 5 or more and you get a $50 free bet as well. Just go to Play Alberta, download the app, playalberta.ca as well is the website. Click on EST Specials. And look, hockey season's over, but the EST Specials will continue on. We have the Lock Shop Partner Parlay still up at plus 300. Riders, Stamps, Bombers all to win this weekend. The early bird bet from Dusty is the Riders to win and the Blue Jays to win. That's boosted to plus 118. We'll have Jays play of the day. The grandest parlay will be thrown up there and continually. So that's EST Specials. And then, look, this is going to be a negative in a sense with the Elks, but over under 7.5. What's the spread next week for the Bombers and the Elks?
That'd be
Get
the
a
same.
guess.
Yeah, I think it'd be the same leading into this game. Probably open
So that was
up
closer
early.
in the 6 range.
You're
Or
right.
6.5. So you would say the under?
Because
Closer
Zach
to that?
Collaros will be back.
Yeah.
Right? Which, hey, look, I've never been like, I know Zach Collaros has a great resume, but I don't know. I'm just not completely sold on Zach Collaros still. But
To me, it depends on what happens. If Winnipeg goes into BC, and I know Jeremiah Mazzola is starting and not Nathan Rourke, but that defense looks like that defense again, as they did in week 1. Well, their week 1, which is week 2. I could see that spread being 10.
really,
Yeah.
What?
I could see the spread being 10 in Winnipeg.
I'm optimistic about next week.
I that Bombers defense was brilliant.
I know.
With what they suffocated Nathan Rourke in that BC Lions offense last week. If they go do some brilliant things again, the Elks do not do well out in Winnipeg. They struggle in Winnipeg.
I want
and
them to
that's not a
surprise us.
knock on the Elks or something. But if I'm the odds maker, I think I could set that at 10, 9.5, 10.5, somewhere in there. I think I'd be I would almost be comfortable still to take the Bombers in that situation.
I'll go under. To be optimistic.
there you go.
So I'll take the over because I said it's 7.5. I think it's going to go over. I think come Monday night, Tuesday morning, whenever the line comes up,
I'm throwing
we're going to
logic
see
out.
a high number.
I got to make a prop for tonight's CFL game. I want to have Saskatchewan winning and
Let me look, because Dusty has some. I don't want you to go where Dusty's going, because he was trying to player prop, I think, for today's game.
They've got Toronto.
Yeah, he's doing a player
deliberately
prop
said
for an anytime
Toronto, by the way.
touchdown. So on a certain player.
who?
He's looking at Keyshawn Johnson. I don't know if this is going to go up. He's looking
former,
for Keyshawn Johnson.
Arizona
TD.
Cardinal. Hello.
So if you're looking Riders to win, they're taking on an Argos team. Let's see what we can do here. Over-under's 40.5.
I'd look at Trevor Harris's number. Like, what's the over/under on passing for Trevor Harris?
You could ask for that one. Because hopefully Play Alberta soon enough will get player props for everyone.
Yep.
I know they are working on that. What did Trevor Harris do so far this season?
He's been all right, hasn't he? Sasky's having a good start.
CFL.ca. Trevor Harris in week 1 threw for 277 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. This last week, 295 and a touchdown. So 275 yards passing for Harris. Touchdown throw. Riders, maybe go Riders
Because I think
to cover.
Saskatchewan's going to,
Maybe go Riders to cover.
what is it, 6.5?
4.5.
4.5?
Maybe bringing it down
On
to
the road?
3.5.
No, I would take it at 4.5. I think they're going to win by double digits.
You think Toronto's in trouble, hey?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Nick Arbuckle ain't it. He had one great game last year.
And the only game that mattered for him. That's the only game you need to be great in.
What about
And good
Trevor
for him.
Harris? What about Saskatchewan to cover Trevor Harris over 250 passing?
I'd take that.
Well, he's 277, 290. I'd bump that up to 270.
But if you're taking them on the spread,
That's fair.
then you can lower that just to,
Let me see what I could guess what you would get for that.
I would, no, I'd say 250. And then maybe, well, no, I got to settle down.
Yeah, you don't need to build too big of a
Getting very
parlay.
excited.
Saskatchewan to cover 4.5. Trevor Harris over 250. I think that would be, Maddie, that's got to be over, that's got to be touching 200. Plus 200.
So you want to go Riders to cover 4.5?
Yep.
I'd sprinkle that.
I can't do that on this. Let's see if I can do it a different way. Give me a second here. I might be able to check what the line.
Maybe
I would
not
guess what the line
200,
would be.
but 170, 160 for sure. Plus,
That's going to be Jay's play?
that's going to be Jay's play, baby. Book it.
Which number are you going
Jay
with?
today.
250.
It's not a good value. It's like minus 400 or something. Oh, I need to clear this. How do I clear this?
What if I went, because my Justin Rankin prop yesterday hit. Mm-hmm. That was a plus 210, over 75 rushing yards.
He got dinged up at the end, too.
He got 76
He's a good
yards.
football player, man.
He
That's
got
plus
76.
125. That's not bad.
That's plus
And then you can get a
125,
plus
and then
125.
And then you can get it
If you just do
boosted.
those two.
Jay, you
Play
been on
Alberta
fire.
usually boosts it. Play Alberta usually boosts it. So Justin Rankin rushed for 3 yards to get him from 73 yards to 76 yards. Matt was taking the pizza to the kitchen. I'm like, boom!
It hit.
He's like, what happened? I'm like, Rankin. That was a nice hit.
I like how they mixed both of them into, and they were getting some. Leak had a couple of good rushes too.
The only thing I don't believe I've seen yet is both of them on the field at the same time. And I would like to
We
see
talked
that.
about that going into the season. Could we see like the dual?
They have 10
Back.
for ratio
Tom,
ratio
you
perspectives.
should see that a lot more than what we are seeing. Right?
So my instinct is good.
yes.
My
They have 10
non-football
Canadian
experience.
starters. Trey's 11, but he doesn't count to the ratio. They got 10 Canadian starters. You only need 7.
Yeah.
You could take Tanner Green out and put
You know what I wasn't a
Javon
big
Leak
fan of?
out there with Justin Rankin, and you're not messing with your ratio. And actually, I think Leak is listed as designated American, so he gets so many snaps as a Canadian. I don't know why we're not seeing both out there. Like, if I want to see a backfield of Trey, Rankin, and Leak,
Look out.
and try to build something with that.
I didn't like that when they brought in the 6th O-lineman, Grahovic,
Oh yeah.
and they'd line him up as a fullback.
The boys would talk about that, getting the big body back
Yeah.
They
there.
did that
Yeah.
last year.
But
Yeah.
don't make things more difficult for a big man. Put him on the line. Line him up
That's what they
tight.
did last year.
Don't, have him coming at depth. I didn't like that. It didn't seem to work all that well. The 6th O-lineman approach, I do like it. But you've got to have a very, a good 3-4 plays that you can audible to for a play action, quick hitters something to get because they teed off on that.
Yeah.
Montreal was teeing off. They didn't have one play action pass off of that 6 low lineman set. Not only that, they didn't have much play action pass at all.
No, they didn't. That's right.
How much play action have you seen from BC? How much have you seen from Montreal?
A lot.
And Edmonton outrushed them. They deserve to have a play action look.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like this is so
Because Sean Thomas Erlington only had like
Unrefined.
60 yards on the ground last night.
yeah.
His touchdown run was untouched, though.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Not a single
He was
Elks
very
defender
happy
got a
last
hand
night.
on him.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Well, I think this team, honestly, it sounds maybe silly, but
There's
I
some
think
trial and error.
this team is moving in the right direction. I think there's a lot of areas to improve, which I mean,
That's tough to sell tickets. That's the only problem. Tough way to
Well,
sell
that's
tickets.
why
Yeah.
we're not in that business, right?
It's,
I mean, that's not an EST problem, thank God.
Mark Killam did say he did put some of this stuff, like he put defense on coaching. So there
Again-
needs to be some improvements on various things. So that but I also don't walk away again from this week going the talent isn't there yet.
Yeah.
I believe that there is talent with what I watch.
Yeah. And again, man, like, I know how much everyone is applauding Montreal's defense, as they should, because they're number one in pretty much every defensive category. I think the one category, they're number 2 out of like the 6 main ones. But their offense is also like, it's like second, third in every offensive category, and probably boosted now.
Davis
after
Alexander, there's
last
a
night.
reason they got rid of Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
And not with Davis Alexander, even only started 4 games.
He's
They know what they
friggin'
saw in
good,
him.
man.
Yeah.
He's friggin' good. He's
Yeah.
built for the CFL.
I know we're tailing or at the tail end of the show here, but I seen it come up in the nasty chat, and I saw it all over social media. I believe yesterday, but was it Gadjevich that was saying "F the Oilers"?
Yes.
Or Greer, AJ Greer. Sorry.
I have no problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it either.
People are saying sore losers. I don't care.
Sore winners.
Sore winners.
Whatever.
Classless. I don't care.
I think it's funny. I think it is kind of funny that you live a bit rent free in AJ Greer's head. That even though he won the Stanley Cup, he beat that team.
Yep.
He was a part of the team that knocked the Oilers out of the final.
But Duthie had a tweet saying this was apparently just what was said on the ice has been some of the most vicious in years. That between these two teams, there is true hate between them.
I love that.
I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of reverse that Oiler fans care right now. Like that we're seeing people in Nasty Chat going classes that Greer lives in your head rent free. That you care about what he's saying.
I don't know.
Why do you have to care?
As a professional athlete, you've won the highest trophy you can win in your sport. Yet 2 days after you've won that, you're still choosing to deflect towards the team you just dispatched. I don't know if I could live in a world where that would even cross my mind. I mean, think of what you've just been through. And yes, okay, there is some merit to what you said, Maddie. I mean, maybe some things were said personally. Sounds like it was.
There's hate
Duthie
between
said
the
this
two
was the
teams.
most heated
Yes.
verbal exchanges, and things that generally aren't on the table were on the table. So there's that. I found it funny more than anything. I'm not really pro con like that. You just won the highest accolade you can win as a team in the NHL.
You rub it in.
Do you? You would do
Eagles,
that?
Eagles go win a Super Bowl. They're laughing in Cowboys fans' faces. They're laughing in Giants' faces. Like they're.
Player, but
Even,
like,
but
I don't.
You go beat this. I have no problem with the team mocking, going at it with the team that they just beat a couple days later. It was a hard series, and that's the team you beat, and they get great praise, and you want to rub it in their face. I have no problem with that. There's a lot that is being said. Like there's also cameras everywhere nowadays. I'm sure things have been said in the past, but
I do also think the stuff that's going on, like the thank you Buffalo Sabres, thank you
the Martian
waivers,
story.
listen, it's funny. People like eat it up and stuff. I do think that some of these guys and guys on the Oilers will be like, okay, we'll remember that.
sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Go do something about it then.
Yep.
And you go win the cup, say what you want. You have every right to say F the Oilers.
They've earned that.
They earned it. They won the cup.
It's
They did
bad
it.
juju, but they earned it.
Maybe, but They've got back-to-back rings, and I think they're pretty good.
They are very good. They're the
Like,
best.
well, I think they're just in salves. They're fine with that. And the fact to be upset about that, I think now maybe the Oilers are living in his head rent free, but for Oilers fans, you're letting him live rent free in your head that you care what they have to say. Focus on your team.
Salt.
Focus on your Oilers.
It's salt in the wound.
Yeah.
And Big Uke was asking me like what I think because I love the hockey gods. I love like that karma. I think guys will remember it. But right now they are the champ. They've got the crown. They can do whatever they want. It is obnoxious. It's funny for some. It'll come back. It'll come back around at some point.
I'm sure we could find other highlights of past champions that have done things against the team that they beat.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
And that's my clip.
Yeah. If you don't like it, like in this Oiler fan, for the Oiler players, you don't like it, go win it. Go win it. And then you could do it, or you don't have to do it. You could do it. You could be as classy as you want if you win, but go win it then.
Is part of you sad? I'm totally changing subjects. Sorry. Is part of you sad
You'd have to have a heart for that, but okay.
that today,
Yes.
after today,
Don't go
the
there.
flipping days get shorter?
Don't
Oh.
say that. Why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, that is sad.
Part of you heartbroken to hear
I
that?
hate this day.
Like, is part of you like, what the hell? Where did this come from?
I hate it.
Well, this is too soon. This is simply too soon.
I couldn't believe it was June 20th. And then
Frick.
Dusty said it on the show this morning. He said summer solstice. I'm like, no, it's not.
It is
And I'm just
the longest day of the year.
This is the worst day because it's just all downhill from here.
I'm
And I
not
feel
ready for
very
training camp.
I'm not ready for the days to get shorter.
And I just started noticing
I'm
how
sad.
long. But I will say this. Okay, leading up to summer solstice, you don't really realize it. And then I feel like we get longer of a ride out of the longer days.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
it's
till about
nicer out,
mid-August. I feel
and
like
it's
I
hot.
notice the
Yeah.
darkness. coming.
Right, like July's still coming, fellas.
great.
July's a great month.
I know, but it's July's only in 10 days.
Matt,
Jeez.
don't be such a pessimist.
Is this good or bad, though? Like,
up. Do
yeah.
not put this on me.
I just said, are you
Do
sad?
not put this on
I didn't
me.
say you're...
You're the one that brought up the summer solstice. Do not put this on me. What are you gonna say, Tom?
Somebody needs a little cry.
But it is because like when I left it later than you yesterday. When I left here,
It was still light.
I saw lights still.
Yeah.
I also thought I was going to be locked into the building. By the way,
Why?
so you locked that front door.
Yeah.
I couldn't unlock it for the longest time.
You gotta jiggle it.
I've never known
Yeah.
that has never happened to me before. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, I'm like,
Yeah.
and it took me like a couple minutes. And
I think there's another way out.
I think there might be, but I was also like, I was going to
What?
be like, well, I'm
Yeah,
spending.
over here.
Really?
Well, there's a door beside the bathroom.
This is
Yeah,
news
there's
to
I
me.
think another side door or something
You wanna
because
try
there's
it
another
after?
exit.
Sure.
But it says
We
it's
should
in
do
a-
that before we leave. We should try it once.
We're literally
Screw it.
out of here.
We're out of here
But
in a month.
it's one of those.
Do whatever we want.
There was a brief part of me for a second that went, I'm spending the night here. The boys are going to have to unlock it from the other side.
You've got a blanket and a couch.
Yeah, I'm done.
You're
I'm
good.
spending the night.
Can you imagine? We come in, the boys come in this morning and find you huddled up on the couch. Just the air conditioning wouldn't turn off.
No, just show off the breaker.
Yeah, we've gotten
Matty.
good at that.
No, I've had my struggles opening that door for
That
hell
door, yeah.
hockey, minus 30 weather. Like,
Coming in?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See,
the
I've never
key-
had that
key-
issue
No,
with that
I've had it
keys.
going out.
I've had the issues, and it's
Right.
such a small thing, and it wasn't moving. Like
Yeah.
I could not get it, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, head on the other side.
Jay was probably gone 20 minutes before me. I'm like, well, I can't call Jay to come back. I'm done.
Oh my gosh.
You know who would have
I got
come?
worried.
Coop.
Barry the Cheater might have just had the greatest idea ever.
What?
Eviction party.
We're not getting the deposit.
That's
anyways.
funny.
Actually, I did think about the one thing I will miss about this place versus the new place that we're going to. It is a quieter road out front that I always did want to do a little block party. And the other place,
We should do a block
road,
party over there one evening.
but it's a busier
Do we
road
have the
that
back
I
alley
don't
there?
think we have.
We got
no.
a huge back area back.
But it's
behind
not
there.
ours. We'd have to talk to the other.
Oh, it'd
people
be
there.
fine.
I
It's
know,
a-
and we
it's
have
a
to-
warehouse,
I've
yeah.
seen
Yeah.
how I've looked on Google Maps like, hey, what could we do? And we'd have to just go to the tenants, the other ones, and most of them are closed on the weekends. There's a couple that are open on weekends. And just
do
be like,
a-
hey, do you mind if we take over this?
We
back
do
for
one
the
right in the
party?
front parking lot around like 9 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, maybe even a Saturday night.
Wait a second.
We're not going into that. But the other road is a busy road, and we're like, we can't shut that one. So I've always wanted to, and like with our parking lot there, I was like, we could do a little block party one day.
Hey, we should just go there one day to our new neighbors and be like, we're here to dance.
Yeah.
That's it.
Some of the boys are there right now. If you want to go after, I could take you guys and show you guys as well. I got the keys. If anyone wants to, you guys want to see it after.
I'll say this. When you guys, or when Dusty called me and told me where we were moving to, I was like, oh, I know that building. Because
Of course you know that building.
no, not because of that. When Rogers Place was being built, what was Rexall Sports and Entertainment became Oilers Entertainment Group. So it was expanding, and the old offices that we were in at Kingsway were cramped. So Oilers TV got moved out to what was Aquila Productions, Metsy's offices and studios, which is right across the back alley from our new location.
Oh, wow.
So I know what building it is, and we would parking in the back alley. And if I was there on like a Friday or happened to pop, I had to go in on a Saturday, I would be like, and the garage for the establishment that is our new neighbor would always be open. And I'd be like, why do they have like video games and like poker tables, and why are the windows blacked out? And I just went to Metsy one day. I'm like, what's going on over there? He said, oh, it's this. They're great. They're fine. Been there forever. And I was like, oh, okay. Kinky.
We did have a serious conversation yesterday, though, about, because in this office we have 9-foot ceilings. Over there, they're 8 foot.
We believe, yeah. They are shorter. They are lower.
So So I proposed
Basketball's going to take a hit.
No, it's
We're
not.
gonna have
No,
to
it's
look.
not. We're gonna open the roof up. We're gonna open the roof up.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to, because Dusty and I were trying to find a spot to put it, and that's right now just a question mark. But I didn't talk to him about this.
I got it covered.
The arc,
Are the studios bigger?
massive.
Awesome.
The studio is literally twice the size of
We were
Perfect.
forced into how the studio is at the corner
Yes.
and things
Yes.
because of the size of these places.
Yes.
There, we're gonna get the options to be able to work in it, and like the chairs are gonna be, you're gonna be able to back your chair up and not hit a wall
Good.
at the new
And
studio.
there is a lot of, I know that they're going to be probably blacked out, but there's windows and the offices are bright. Matt's already said he's going to put two-way mirror on his windows, so no
You
one
are a sick
one
puppy.
way.
Well, I'm gonna be the first contact for people, and I'm just gonna be busy at times.
Just blinds.
I just want to use sick puppy. You are a sick puppy.
But hey, the boardroom, Tom.
Yeah.
The boardroom is probably easily twice the size of this hangout room.
It's big.
That's
It's just
good.
a big space.
Yeah,
We've got a
that's
nice
Because
space.
we're kind of all over each other here. There's going to be a quiet room. There might be a padded room for Zach. There might be
a lot of
timeout.
storage. We have a kitchen space.
There's
Yeah.
a kitchen.
Good.
Gager's going to be cooking. I'd like to get a grill. We'll have to find a grill.
So my brother has. I just don't know where to store all this, but my brother is given us
Because we could wheel it out onto that.
a Weber propane.
Yeah.
a little portable one. I just don't know where to leave a propane tank.
There's lots of room there.
We'd have to confirm that with the people around us that we're okay to leave it outside.
We're gonna get a
propane
little
tank?
We
cage.
can't leave it inside.
Well, lock it up. Put a chain on it. The top of the stairs.
But we just have. At the top of the stairs. Good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
But my brother has, and
And then we
have
just
to
wheel
get
that
it
thing
for him.
out there, get burgers going for the boys.
I just need to
Hey, a
get
couple
it.
beers. It'll be like us in Goodfellas when we're in the prison.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
I never thought of that. Leaving it just out on that
Shaving
spot.
the garlic.
I'll shave the garlic.
Tom's on the. I want you on the sauce.
I'm on the sauce.
want
But
you
I
on
do
the sauce.
have
The gravy. Sorry. Don't the real paisans call it gravy?
in Canada or in like North America.
Yeah, I guess so.
In Italy, they won't call it that.
No, they call it sauce.
I don't think they call that gravy.
Soup.
Whatever
That's
happened to those guys?
Sopranos thing.
Whatever happened to those guys that would eat? What was the name of that show? They came out on YouTube. They're Canadian. They would make like Big Mac lasagnas.
What?
No idea. Never heard of
What
this.
was it called?
Man versus food?
No.
That guy's
It was
awesome.
like, and he'd say sauce.
Sauce.
Oh, somebody will know this. Dang it.
Pat Ketty had a
What is it?
big time influencer cooking guy come in.
Epic Mealtime.
I met him.
Do you not remember Epic Mealtime?
Never heard of it.
And they would
No.
make like crazy. They make like a 20-pound burger and fill it with cheeseburgers, like inside the meat. It was nuts. we could start that.
What
with
about Dark
EST.
Side of the Grill? That guy.
I
Mel.
haven't seen it.
Mel. He was in at Ice House. This guy, really nice guy. He was in for the playoffs.
Oh,
He's got like 500,000 followers.
okay.
Max
Yeah, he's a
Bezzosu,
good
how do
dude.
you transfer over the Hangout signatures? So I've been aware of this move for a little bit more than the boys here. And as everyone has signed the wall and I've asked them, I've always been like, ugh.
No, we're gonna take it off. Man.
Well, so right now we believe we can maybe try to peel this off and
We're gonna walk
transfer
it
it
over.
over. You're going to see us down the street walking it and put it on.
Could we not like?
My thing is,
Cut
I
the
think the
signatures
worst
out?
case is we could cut it nicely. I think if we cut it well enough, I could cut out pieces of it.
I could have half this wall off before the show ends.
I know, but I just don't know. Are we going to be able to transfer it and make sure that it's going to come out? That's the only concern.
Yeah, you
I
just
have.
got to lay them out nicely in the back of a truck, or like they'll be sticky to sticky, but they're not going to stay stuck to stuck.
Or is there something we could put on them to film it
No,
and
you
stuff?
go sticky to sticky.
But
Then take it over there,
Worst case,
unstick,
if
put
we
'em
don't
up.
think we could do this, I will be cutting out these signatures and put them on like canvases.
Yeah.
and there will be artwork
I like that.
in the new place.
We've got options.
Go in my
Well,
office. I'll
and,
go to
and
their
it's not
office,
necessarily to say that these are all going to go in the hangout room at the new place.
No, there
There's
could be
tons of
just
hallway
different- there's
space. and
My office or various spots. But there's some like not everyone's signature I care about.
These can
Sorry.
even go, Maddie, on the right
Obviously.
when you come up the
Well,
stairs
but-
on the right.
Like there's some of these people we could get to re-sign the wall. Like all of us, we can get re-signing the
Yeah,
wall.
that's true.
You're
Well, we
not-
got Eric Zabrowski.
Eric Zabrowski.
Like we have Gavin Cobb, we've got Royce Meche, Nick Anderson, Trey Ford,
Big
there's-
Al.
But there's just a couple that it's like, well, like I see Big Uke, I see Ferg, I
Ron
see
Lowe.
Jay and Jocelyn. We just have to get them back on the Hangout again, and they'll do it again.
That's
and I'm
doable.
it's
Yeah.
doable to get them to re-sign. So they signed here, they get a sign at the new place. That would be like the thing. But there's the other ones that it's like, well, I don't know if we'll get like Jeff Hecht is on here.
Can I tell you a secret?
David Beard's on here.
Can I tell you a secret?
What's your secret?
My daughters have signed the wall
Awesome. Where?
behind Tommy's chair.
why
Tommy,
so
pull it
low?
out and look.
Sneaky.
Why did they sign down there?
They thought they'd get in trouble
Of course not me.
from Big Bad Matt. Look at it down
I
there.
would not do it to the girls.
There's Rose Milne, Faith
Oh, yeah.
Milne,
Glue
and they
crew.
put part of the glue crew.
Run the clicks for the girls. No, you didn't have to do that. I actually want them to. Well, it's actually kind of fun that they're down.
Matt's
Like
a
it's
meanie.
funny that it's
It's
hidden.
neat,
The
right?
story behind it. But if no, they could have signed anywhere. We're gonna have to wrap up the Hangout here, unfortunately,
Good
because the
show
show's
today.
over.
Great show.
Can I say one thing? People ask you about Jonathan Toews in Winnipeg. Okay, like I don't think he's gonna make a big impact next year. That's just my
Could
personal.
make upwards of $5 million with bonuses.
Well, 7 mil total was
So-
the salary and 5 mil bonus. Yeah.
$2 million salary, but then it's like if he wins the cup, it's $1 million.
Okay.
And he has
Makes
to pay
a round,
50% of the game.
yeah,
Every
each
round
round's a
is like a
mil.
couple. Yeah, so there's a lot of money that could be there. We've got the Lock Shop coming up next. We got the Oil Stream with Dusty and Tommy. They will let you know what's going on with Chris Knobloch and Stan Bowman as they speak to the media. We got EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Do you know what's coming up today by any chance? Or I know you guys got to still work on it.
We've reached out to Cass. Not sure if Cass is going to come on, just to kind of wrap up the season. And then Jamie Thomas.
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We got Hello Hockey with Tommy, Belzy, and Benny. Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, VIP Golf Show with Murray, Curtis Stock, and Zach. So we've got you covered with stuff throughout the station. Keep it locked to our audio website, too. Stingers Riverhawks action we'll have this weekend as well. Jay, it's been a lot of us together lately, but I'm enjoying this. On behalf of Tommy.
You never
Jay.
said that to me.
Well, but like over the last, we did
24 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Ouch.
I was around this office all day yesterday. Did the show with him. Watched a game. Did another show. Did
cry
this
for me,
one.
Argentina.
He was on Monday. Like, sorry, Tommy. On behalf of Tommy, Jay, Benny, I'm Matt. This is the EST Angle presented by Sentinel Storage and your clear choice for Edmonton Sports presented by Play Alberta. Up next, it is the Lock Shop. Don't go anywhere. Have a great weekend.
Let's go. There you go. Right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,